Have you ever wondered whether artificial intelligence can help with trading? In this video, I will tell you in great detail whether it is really possible to make money using ChatGPT or some other artificial intelligence, how to write prompts for it, how to make sure it responds correctly, and most importantly, I will show you a system that can help you achieve very good results. Honestly, I'll tell you, back when I used to see similar videos on YouTube, I would think to myself that, yeah, it's all not true. I mean, if artificial intelligence could really provide decent signals, then why would we even need traders who sit there, trade on their own, analyze the news themselves, and so on? And actually, that's why I got the idea to test all of this in real life. So I have it open now. Charger 5.5.2 trading platform. You can find a link to it in my Telegram channel. By the way, before I forget to mention, I will post absolutely all the prompts that need to be entered correctly on my Telegram channel. I also provide signals on a daily basis and post training materials and interesting news that I analyze myself. So if you're interested, be sure to check it out. So I will be trading on a currency pair. I'm thinking, let's see, maybe the Canadian dollar to the Swiss franc. The yield is 85%. Great, so I choose based on the yield. An 85% yield is already good. And in fact, we can see here that there was a small consolidation, after which a decline began, and now it's quite a good time to open a position. Now let's go back to ChatGPT. So how should we formulate a prompt for it? So to start, I'll write to ChatGPT that I'll be sending it a chart, and it should respond by telling me in which direction to open a trade, up or down, and for how long. Okay, it writes back to us that it can generally do that, but only in a hypothetical scenario or for educational purposes, that this is not financial advice, that it's just technical recommendations, technical analysis, so to speak. And honestly, I think that's absolutely right. Previously, ChatGPT would immediately say, no problem at all, just send whatever you want and I'll tell you everything right away. Now though, the format has changed a bit. I should mention here, guys, that I've actually tried different GPTs. In my personal opinion, ChatGPT really does provide forecasts and signals. It does the best analysis and gives the best predictions, so first and foremost, I would recommend using it, but I also want to add that in any case, I advise you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, whether on Telegram or YouTube, to go ahead and do it, because I will have a huge number of useful educational videos on various topics, and it's definitely better to study something on your own, because that will definitely give you much more knowledge no matter what. Imagine that in any artificial intelligence, essentially, new rules can be introduced. They can prohibit analyzing images for one reason or another. Restrictions are imposed quite often. They might even ban giving any advice on finance and so on. That's why, by simply studying everything on your own, I believe you'll only be doing yourself a favor. So, overall, he sent it to us, and now we're going to pocket option. Alright, I'm going to test it. Let's take, $1,200 is quite a large amount, so I'll be opening trades for $500 each. We send him the entire chart, just like that. I paste it for him and then write where to open, and he analyzes it. It's also very important to consider that, for example, this kind of trading is perfect if you have time to wait and if your chart isn't particularly volatile. Well, let's set up 2 trades because we still have... There's always a delay anyway. I'm opening a $100 trade for 2 minutes, betting on a decrease. So I'd like to point out here that as you've already seen, when I write to ChatGPT, it takes some time to respond, so to speak, on a bit of a delay. That is, it might give you an answer in 5 seconds, sometimes in 10, sometimes in 15. If you enter the market, for example, and there's some kind of consolidation, and you have a situation where the candles are just standing still, more or less at the same level, well, most likely it will tell you to refrain from trading, right? Yes, but if, for example, you enter a very volatile market, when you have one candle going down, another going up, and there are sharp fluctuations, this might not work in your favor because sooner or later you might encounter a problem. Situations where you enter the market day after day and end up in a volatile market. And essentially, during such volatility, you just won't be able to keep up. That is, it will tell you, for example, to open here or there. But you won't be able to keep up with it because you need to load, type in where to open, and then it will send you a response. After that, you go in and open positions. Just imagine how much time you lose on this. That's exactly why, for example, on my channel, you yourselves asked me to create a Telegram channel, so I did it. There's also a VIP club, which you can join absolutely free, receive signals from me, and there the signals come with minimal delay. That is, there's literally just a 1 to 2 second delay, guys. By the way, a refund on the trade is not a loss, not a loss. Let's keep checking further. So again, he received the signal. Where to open? Look, again, he's waiting. How long is that already? 3 seconds, 4, 5. Okay, all good. Again, he writes to go down for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, again, I open a down position for 2 minutes. Look, if the rebound keeps going even further now, I'll add another position to catch up. I'll do it like this. And I'll add another one right here like this. Nothing to worry about. After all, potentially, he's actually saying everything quite correctly. I'll add another position here because, look, we have a downtrend from 2036, so it's already been an hour. The market is just falling. It's also very important to keep in mind here that I'm still trading. Right now, it's already quite late in the evening. The market is very likely, well, it's basically heading towards closing. And when the market is heading towards closing, you'll see situations where, for example, there's only an uptrend or only a downtrend. Very often there can be a sideways trend. So this is completely normal, there's nothing wrong with it. And actually, I completely agree with ChatGPT here, because it's assessing the situation very reasonably. I absolutely agree with it that you should open a position downward here. Yes, of course, for example, here we had a sideways movement, then there was a sharp drop, then a small correction, another drop, and then another correction. So such corrections naturally have occurred and will continue to occur. Yes, so it's actually very rare, but you might see situations where, for example, the trend is moving only downward. And there are absolutely no moments where the market tries to average out. So this kind of thing happens very rarely. Mainly, this only happens if some really important news comes out. Then yes, the market can really move in just one direction, without any pullbacks or, on the contrary, surges. So there's no need to worry about it. The most important thing, and I never get tired of repeating this, no matter how many times, is that it doesn't matter. Whether you trade using technical analysis thanks to indicators, or you trade based on news, or you already have 5 strategies. No matter how you trade, guys, the most important thing to remember is that you always need to manage your capital properly. If you're interested in money management and want me to talk about it, please write about it in the comments. I read all the comments and try to reply to everyone, and if I see such a question, I'll definitely make a video on this topic. Well guys, that's great. Now once these positions close in profit, we'll find ourselves in a really good profit. How do you like that? Not bad. Well, overall, yes, basically the initial trade I opened was actually closed at a loss. But we saw a sharp impulse, and on that impulse we placed our orders. You see, this is where you really need to have your own knowledge. That's why I say that instead of relying solely on artificial intelligence for everything in life, you still need to be able to think for yourself. This will help you more than once. So next we take a new screenshot, take another screenshot, and send it to him again. We wait patiently, observing the steady progression of time as the seconds tick by. 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and finally 14. A full 14 seconds have elapsed during this extended period of anticipation. Guys, imagine that we open the market again for 2 minutes for a downward move, but keep in mind that in just 14 seconds, which is a very short time, the market could have changed drastically. So that's precisely why I honestly don't really know. To be quite honest with you, when I tested ChatGPT in my previous tests, it gave incredibly strong and clear signals very effectively. But this delay, honestly, is really a critical issue for me, and I'm interested in your opinion. Share your thoughts as well. It would be nice to read your comments. And well, in conclusion, you can try trading and write about what results you get. Because for some people, everything goes perfectly right away, so to speak. But for others, due to the delay, while the person is still entering the amount or doing something else, the situation is no longer as good as it could be. I would also like to say something separately about ChatGPT, that when you are trading on a daily basis, it can help you, for example, by analyzing your positions that you closed at a loss. That is, you can open your history, look at it, and see where you opened a position and where it was closed. For example, you can open your losing trades, and ChatGPT does a pretty good job of analyzing why that situation happened. This is the main advantage. I always say that you need to be able to analyze not just the chart in the moment, but also your unsuccessful positions and losing trades. So in this regard, ChatGPT 5 is a very, very good advisor, and you can read what it has written for you. You can draw conclusions from that and essentially avoid making those mistakes again. Also, ChatGPT 5 is quite helpful, for example, in gathering economic news for the day or the week. Or, for example, you yourself looked at the economic calendar on investing.com, say the important economic news for the week. You looked at them, wrote them down for yourself, and instead of, as they say, eating them up, and instead of sitting there entering things into Google yourself, constantly searching for different information and so on, you can simply take the news, send it to ChatGPT, and it will analyze it, explain it to you, even provide its own analysis, and then you can read that analysis. But here, it's very important to still rely on yourself. Well, what's very important to understand is that neither I nor you, nor any other analyst, even with 30 or 40 years of experience, truly knows for sure. Yes, unfortunately, neither you nor I are psychics or anything like that. So it's very important to understand here that you need to be able to analyze things yourself, and for the most part, trust your own judgment, especially if you know that you're deeply immersed in the world of news. Alright, so what do we have here? Excellent. Next, guys, let's open one more position. Well, so far I'm really pleased. I don't want to make this video super long. Also, leave a comment if you want me to make, for example, a video on something specific. By the way, right now, very, very quickly. Again, going short. It's like people keep writing me the same thing. But actually, guys, no, he can say it differently too. Don't think he's just copying and pasting. But actually, it gives signals very, very well. I don't want to make the video too long, as I already said, because the result is already clear. And so, if you write in the comments, I can record a video, for example, about the protocol or about the news heel, and that he analyzes them, about how he can help in finding some strategies, in breaking down these strategies. In other words, everything in as much detail as possible. And as I said, there will also be a complete guide with prompts in Telegram. So while we wait, but here too, it's great. So you see, overall, everything he just wrote, I completely agree with all of it. You can take a look yourself. And in fact, I think it's almost impossible to disagree here. Let's see, just out of curiosity, where I would say it's going to go up, and so that he would agree with me. What do we have on the euro dollar? But here, of course, it's unlikely he'll say so, but let's set it to the very lowest extreme here. Let's do it like this. So actually, considering that I already know this is the highest extreme, I would definitely open a position for an increase. But you see, he says the same thing. 2 to 4 minutes. Reason. Short. Okay. But here, he actually explains it correctly, that right now, there's a very strong bearish trend and a potential decline ahead. Alright, let me place a 2-minute trade for a decrease. It's no big deal. So, for that position, we have a loss. Although, let's check. After all, I can also make mistakes sometimes. Here, I would have placed a trade for an increase, simply because we had a sharp candle here. This is the lowest extreme, the lowest level on this chart, which we had at 1330. Just so you understand, there was a rebound from here. Well, it's pretty questionable, but if ChatGPT turns out to be right, then it deserves applause. Yes, you see, sometimes there are situations with difficult breakouts as well. That is, here it could have been assumed that this high is higher than the previous one. Accordingly, we would expect a reversal now, but no, that didn't happen. Alright guys, I think if we close these trades in profit now, I'll wrap it up here. Because the results are quite impressive in the grand scheme of things. Even if it makes a mistake on this particular trade and there's only a very minor loss now, some kind of rebound potentially. Again, it indicates everything quite accurately. And so I believe that as an auxiliary tool for beginners, for people who want to understand the essence and the reasons, it does a pretty good job explaining things. You can even ask it additionally, for example, I want you to give me the deepest possible analysis. And it really will break everything down for you from A to Z. This is probably the biggest advantage, but the 321, but still you see here. So let's say I turned out to be right. Just as I said, I would go for an increase. What about you? In fact, that's exactly what happened here. So let's switch to the euro to Canadian dollar pair. So let's just send it to him again, once more. That's great, we will wait. Again, guys, well, to be honest, the way he's writing, I'm starting to have doubts. I'll open a bigger trade here. How many did I get here? 3, 6, 7. 7 positions for a decrease. Well, you see, the day is coming to an end now, and naturally, overall, there's a downward trend everywhere. So, expecting him to say something different here really wouldn't make sense. I mean, he evaluates everything positively because, for example, I'm going to make a separate video about this button. The artificial intelligence on Pocket, which they created, there too, it opens a position based on, let's say, their own kind of analysis. And in the next video, I'll break down how it actually works. Is it random or not? How does the analysis happen? What makes it work, and so on. And to see what the result is, I don't mind setting aside some amount and trading with it for your sake. Because after all, I've been trading for almost 11 years now, and I understand that whatever happens, we'll be able to make it back anyway. Yes, and most importantly, I want to say this for beginners too. Never be afraid, never give up if something doesn't work out. You need to keep this in mind. There's never a situation where bam, everything just takes off for you right away. Bam, and suddenly everything starts working out for you. That almost never happens in any field. But by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 positions is $3,500. I can tell you that I'm a little bit disappointed. Because now I need to open a much larger position. And ChatGPT has started letting me down. Let's ask it. Once again, maybe in the chat it will tell us where it's better to open. Let's discover precisely what it really tells us in the Lively Kids chat. Well, yeah, still a loss on this position. Okay, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. $8,000, guys. $8,000. Just for you. I opened for 8,000 bucks. Honestly, no matter how many years I've been trading naturally, there are moments when I sit there and when I imagine such amounts, my hands actually start to sweat. It's just from the nerves. You always have to try your best to keep yourself under control. You shouldn't treat it as if it's already earned money. Earned money is only the money you've traded with, withdrawn from the platform, and that's already in your account. As long as it's still on the account, it's not earned money for trading. So, only when you actually see it in your own account, when you've received it, can you consider it your earnings. And you should never regret it, because many people start trading, they have, let's say, a system they follow, but in the end they start regretting the money, they don't stick to their own system properly, and they lose money. That's it. That's the most common mistake, so to speak. Simply because inside it's hard for a person to control themselves, so to speak. That's right. So what do we have here? Let's wait and see. No, of course, anything can happen in life. Honestly, I don't really believe that this position will close in profit right now, but it would be great if we get a candle like that. 22 seconds. We wait. I already really want to close this position now, take the profit, and actually completely finish up. But just really, okay. See, for example, right now I would have added more right away. But instead I have to type it out and wait every time. But I picked it up, it would surprise me if it goes up now. Nope, it's still doing the same thing, just writing. Guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Guys, that's it. Attention, right now we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 positions, guys, 9 positions. Well, you see, for example, here we didn't really enter the position very well, of course, because it opened right at the very bounce. But if these positions don't go through now, I'll be very surprised. What do you think, chat? Is GPP going to lose money now, guys? You know what also surprises me is that he actually analyzes things correctly, but he keeps telling me down 2 or 3 minutes. Well, that's already. It looks pretty strange. I mean, I would also add to my position here, for example. I would also add here. Let's write to him now. I'm just curious if he'll at least say anything about a possible reversal here. If we, well, he'll probably write it down for 2 to 3 minutes again now. Yeah. Although, you see, I'm sending it to him. It's quite extensive, I think, this chart. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. Now, guys, take a look at the amount in the account. Honestly, before this, I was trading using the G5 chat and it was showing good results. Now, I don't know, maybe something has changed? By the way, I'm really curious about this in general. For those of you who regularly use the DBT chat, let me know. Do you think maybe the company OpenAI has changed something? Because before, it almost always gave different times. It used to have much better accuracy than it does now. And what I'm seeing in front of me now are these kinds of results. And they're always the same. Basically, the incoming signals truly and genuinely surprise me. I mean, I completely agree with what it's clearly writing, yes, but at the very same time, for example, right here, you could already reasonably assume that there's significant potential for even further substantial growth. It's definitely and unequivocally there. It's absolutely and certainly there. But it doesn't take that into account. Let's take a look, of course. But if the deposit gets drained, guys, I'll show everything as it is. I always show everything honestly, the truth, without any fakes, screenshots, or anything like that. Here I am, trading right in front of you, so to speak. I don't know if you can see it right now or not, but the result is surprising. I'll be really surprised now if I lose this money, so to speak. I'll be very surprised. Let's wait and see. But you know, this will be a signal. Not even that it's not 100%, but it'll be a signal that's 50-50. But as you can see, all our positions are in the red now. This is just fucked up. Just so you understand, I've now lost almost all the money I earned over the past 3 weeks just by filming this video. And yeah, maybe for someone that's not a lot of money, maybe you'll say, well, it's just 3 weeks, it's not a big deal. But ChatGPT just pissed me off right now. I don't even know when I started filming this video. I was expecting completely different results, at the very least. And forgive me for the clickbait, for probably writing about which prompts I used or something like that. But guys, I always show everything as it really is. And right now, this is exactly the result I got. If you want other, let's say, maybe videos, although I honestly have no desire to trade with it anymore, then let me know.